Alright, in this video I'll be covering the root cause to you failing your New Year's resolution every year and what you can do different this year so you can stick to your New Year's resolution. So the first thing you need to focus on here is reducing stress. There is a correlation between excessive amounts of stress and excessive visceral fat, which stores around the abdominal area. And also, we gotta remember here that when it comes to your training, you do not want to overtrain. And all the stresses add up, even the ones outside of training, which could include mental stresses. And then overtraining leads to you being in a negative nitrogen balance, which means fat mass will go up and fat-free mass will go down, and this could all happen if the pounds on the scale stay the same. So don't just start off your New Year's resolution here thinking I'm always going to be in a calorie deficit. Research has shown that excessive amounts of stress can lead to an increased risk in getting the common cold or even chronic diseases such as heart disease or cancer. So right now you're probably thinking stress is very toxic, but this couldn't be further from the truth. An excessive amount of stress would be toxic. See, what's supposed to happen here is we have a stress, and that's an alarm. And then we give ourselves a chance to adapt to that stress, which becomes the resistance phase. And then over time, we adapt a new homeostasis, and we're all ready for another alarm phase again. But how many of us actually give ourselves a chance to adapt to stressors in our lives? Not many of us. So if you have an alarm, you do not give yourself a chance to adapt to that stress, and then another stress and another stress and all these stresses, so all these alarms just pile on top of each other, and you do not have a chance to adapt to that. You go into this exhaustion phase where your body's just fighting for a chance to recover. This is when stress causes all the bad things I just mentioned earlier in that video. Now, just because you have a very busy life does not mean that you can't control your stress. It's all about how your mind perceives your stress. So I'm sure that you're now aware that stress can contribute to many health problems, but stress can also contribute to you doing things that are bad for your health too, such as overeating, self-isolation, and use of drugs. So you can see here how your mental health and physical health both affect each other. So when you wonder why every year you fail at sticking to your New Year's resolution, well, maybe it's because you did not start off focusing on reducing your stress. Instead, you focused on restricting calories. But excessive amount of stress is what caused you to overeat, not because you're lazy and not disciplined. So if you want to make sure that this year you can actually stick to your New Year's resolution and not quit like the other years, it would be a great idea to start off focusing on reducing stress. So if you watch a lot of my videos, you know that one thing I always say is if you're not assessing, you're guessing. So first, it would be a great idea to assess yourself and see if you're experiencing lots of stress. So these right here are the signs and symptoms of dealing with an excessive amount of stress. So you can see we got some physical, emotional, and behavioral symptoms. And then I'd also recommend you go watch my part 2 and part 3 videos right there for my stress and abdominal fat playlist, because I go through other assessments you can do to also see if you're dealing with an excessive amount of stress. So one thing that can really help you reduce stress is aerobic exercise. Now, remember here, this is not anaerobic exercise. So you are not gonna be going as hard as you can. Just start off with small things that are low intensity. So just start off like going on a walk, and that could help you reduce stress. Another thing that can help you out is relaxation and meditation. Improving your social support will be important too, so try to be more social. And then also the way you perceive stresses are very important too. So try to perceive a stress as a challenge rather than a burden. So try to be more optimistic here. So since it's all about how your mind perceives that stress, we could make these stressors feel less stressful if you make a list and stay more organized here. So for example, if you do all the easiest things in your list first, then you'll get a lot of things crossed off and it'll look like that you don't have as much to do and feel much less stressful and a lot easier to keep track of. Alright, so a quick recap of what you need to do going forward. First, assess your stress, and if you see that you are dealing with an excessive amount of stress and in that exhaustion phase, make sure you use some of these strategies I just mentioned to help you reduce your stress. So I am going to upload more videos soon on how to stick with your New Year's resolution. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on those videos. Thanks for watching, and I wish the best of luck to each and every one of you at achieving your fitness goals.